and a freshly dug grave. Impossible mission. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about my winter TBR. I know that I'm wearing a short sleeve shirt, kind of kills the vibe. I'm so sorry. But it's just not that cold in my apartment. It's freezing outside though. It's like 30 something degrees. I don't know what's up with that, but yeah, apologies for the short sleeve, but it is brown, so it kind of gives winter, right? And my nails are winter. Yeah, no, maybe? Okay, so these are the books that I want to get to around the months of December to probably around March. Because March is the month it's actually the coldest where I'm from. Does that make sense? Absolutely not. But it is the truth. So I have 6 books on my winter TBR. Not too much considering all the time that I'll be having, but these are some pretty thick, hefty books. And I want to give myself some grace in case I don't get to them. So the first book that I'll be talking about for my winter TBR is actually Project Hail Mary. This book, I think, has a movie adaptation about to come out soon. I'm not super sure when, but I really want to see the movie, so I really want to read the book before the movie comes out or before I see the movie. So the Goodreads summary of Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir? Not sure. This says, a lone astronaut, an impossible mission, an ally he never imagined. Ryland Grace is the sole survivor on a desperate last chance mission, and if he fails, humanity and Earth itself will perish. Except that right now, he doesn't know that. He can't even remember his own name, let alone the nature of his assignment or how to complete it. All he knows is that he's been asleep for a very, very long time. And he's just been awakened and finds himself millions of miles from home with nothing but 2 corpses for company. His crewmates dead, his memories fuzzily returning. Ryland realizes that an impossible task now confronts him. Hurtling through space on his tiny ship, it's up to him to puzzle out an impossible scientific mystery and conquer an extinction-level threat to our species. So, that sounds pretty cool to me. I've been really getting into sci-fi recently, and I've been loving anything in space. This year I read Red Rising, which kind of sparked a new love for sci-fi for me. Right now I'm reading The Blinded Stars by Megan O'Keefe, and I'm loving that book. I'm literally at 90% in that book, and it's absolutely crazy. The stakes for a sci-fi book are just so much higher than anything else because it's so outlandish. The author can literally throw in absolutely anything to make it wild. Project Hail Mary is definitely on my TBR. I've heard that it has a musical element to it, which I'm really interested to see what that's about. I've heard the audiobook is great, so I might take it up as an audiobook as opposed to reading it physically. We'll see. All right, my next book is Wild Dark Shore. Now, I started this book over the summer. I got probably 15% through. I thought it was really interesting. I just was kind of in a slump and it was going really slow, and so I needed something to pick up a lot faster. So I just put it down for the time being, but I have it downloaded on my iPad. So I really want to get back into it because I've heard that that book is absolutely crazy, and also I've heard that it's quite sad at the end, which I don't know about y'all, but I low-key love a book that makes me cry. A book that can make me feel such an intense emotion as to cry my eyes out. Love that. Let's read the description. Wild Dark Shore by Scarlet McConaghy. I'm so sorry. A family on a remote island. A mysterious woman washed ashore. A rising storm on the horizon. Dominic Salt and his 3 children are caretakers of Shearwater, a tiny island not far from Antarctica. Home to the world's largest seed bank, Shearwater was once full of researchers, but sea levels rising, the Salts are now its final inhabitants. Until during the worst storm the island has ever seen, a woman mysteriously washes ashore. Isolation has taken its toll on the Salts, but as they nurse the woman, Rowan, back to strength, it begins to feel like she might just be what they needed. Rowan, long accustomed to protecting herself, starts imagining a future where she can belong to someone again. But Rowan isn't telling the whole truth about why she set out for Shearwater, and when she discovers sabotaged radios and a freshly dug grave, she realizes Dominic is keeping his own secrets. That sounds crazy. I can remember the very beginning, I was very into the book. The atmosphere was very prevalent throughout this story. It kind of feels like you're there. It feels very bleak. It feels very rainy, very cold, very windy. I read this during summer, so it wasn't the most perfect summer read, but I was really into it. Like I said, it was just pretty slow in the beginning, but I've heard that it gets really good, so I just need to push past that and get back to this book, especially during the winter, which I feel like will be perfect for this time. Next is The Will of the Many by James Islington. I've seen this book everywhere. Everybody has been reading this book and everybody has been loving it. It is quite intimidating. That book is thick. I've seen it in the bookstore and I've almost picked it up, but it's so thick. And one thing about me right now is I'm not reading books very fast. I'm sorry, especially a sci-fi or fantasy book. It takes me a minute to get into those things. I've heard that it has a dark academia vibe to it, which I've actually never really read, but I hear a lot of people like that, and I feel like that's perfect for the winter time. Let's read the description. The Will of the Many by James Islington. I know the second book just came out, so this would honestly be perfect. And so now when I read the first book, the second book will already be out, so that's kind of perfect. Okay. At the elite Kaigan Academy, a young fugitive uncovers layered mysteries and world-changing secrets in this new fantasy series by internationally the Kaigan Republic, the hierarchy, may rule the world now, but they do not know everything. I tell them my name is Telemus. I tell them I was orphaned after a tragic accident 3 years ago, and that good fortune alone has led to my acceptance into their most prestigious school. I tell them once I graduate, I will gladly join the rest of the civilized society in allowing my strength, my drive, and my focus, what they call will, to be leached away and added to the power of those above me, as millions already do, as all must eventually do. I tell them that I belong, and they believe me. I'm not gonna keep going because I like to go in my books very blind. I've heard a lot about the structure of the government in this book, or of the magic system. I really don't know if it's fantasy, sci-fi, I'm not super sure the genre specifically, but from what I've heard, it's very interesting and it's also a little complex, but since I've heard other people explain it, it may not be very hard for me to understand. And I'm really interested in that, about the hierarchy of will. It's kind of explained in the description, but not super well. And I'm really interested in that because I've also heard that the book makes people cry. And I love a book that makes me cry. So I need to get to that. Okay, next is Beneath a Scarlet Sky. Now this book isn't fantasy, it's not sci-fi. From what I understand, it's historical fiction, but I think it is based off true events. After I finished The Nightingale and gave it 100 billion stars out of 5, and I told other people that I really liked The Nightingale, I actually was recommended this book a lot. I think it may have taken place around the same time as The Nightingale. I could be wrong. After we read the description together, we'll see. From the way it sounds like it's right up my alley, to be honest. Let's read the description and then we'll get back to that. Beneath the Scarlet Sky by Mark T. Sullivan. Based on the true story of a forgotten hero. Okay, so it is based off a true story. Beneath the Scarlet Sky is the triumphant epic tale of one young man's incredible courage and resilience during one of history's darkest hours. Pino Lela? Oh gosh, I suck at names. Wants nothing to do with the war or the Nazis. He's a normal Italian teenager obsessed with music, food, and girls, but his days of innocence are numbered. When his family home in Milan is destroyed by Allied bombs, Pino joins an underground railroad helping Jews escape over the Alps and falls for Anna, a beautiful widow 6 years his senior. In an attempt to protect him, Pino's parents force him to enlist as a German soldier, a move they think will help him out of combat. But after Pino is injured, he's recruited at the tender age of 18 to become the personal driver for Adolf Hitler's left hand in Italy. Oh my gosh. Okay, I have to read this book. That's crazy. The fact that it's based off real events, that is wild. I need to read that book ASAP. Low-key, I might read that after I finish The Blighted Stars. That sounds so incredibly interesting. And I have seen it in the bookstore, so I can actually go buy it. Next is The Sword of Kaigan. I have heard such great reviews of this book. It's a standalone fantasy. It's quite long, but people say that it's incredible. I've heard the ending isn't the best, but I've heard that everything leading up to the ending is great. Does that scare me a little bit? Yeah, because what does that mean? Literally, what does that mean? But I've heard that it's incredible, and I've heard that it's really good, especially because it's a standalone. Super long fantasy series is quite intimidating to me. I've literally read the entire Throne of Glass series except Kingdom of Ash. And I read the last book, Tower of Dawn. I read that probably 8 months ago. I still haven't finished it. I can't tell you what it is. So a standalone fantasy is perfect for me, especially one that is as good as this, as I've heard. Let's read the description. The Sword of Kaigan by M.L. Wang. A mother struggling to repress her violent past. A son struggling to grasp his violent future. A father blind to the dangers that threatens them all. When the winds of war reach their peninsula, will the Matsuda family have the strength to defend their empire? Or will they tear each other apart before the true enemies even reach their shores? High on a mountainside at the edge of the... Kaiganese. Oh, definitely. High on the mountainside at the edge of the Kaiganese Empire live the most powerful warriors in the world, superhumans capable of raising the sea, wielding blades of ice. For hundreds of years, the fighters of the Kusunagi Peninsula have held the Empire's enemies at bay, earning their frozen spit of land the name the Sword of Kaigan. Born into this legendary Matsuda family, 14-year-old Mamura has always known his purpose, to master his family's fighting techniques and to defend his homeland. But when an outsider arrives and pulls back the curtain on Kaigan's alleged age of peace, Mamura realizes that he may not have much time to become the fighter he was bred to be. Worse, the empire he was bred to defend may stand on a foundation of lies. I don't know. That sounds quite interesting to me, but from what I've heard, it's a lot more than that. I've heard that it's quite deep. There's found family, there are extremely high stakes, makes people cry. That's literally all I need. Okay, last and certainly not least is Blood Over Brighthaven. This is similar to the last book, Sword of Kaigan. I actually don't know much about this book at all. I've just heard that people love it so much. Let's look if it's a standalone or a fantasy, or a freak. If this is a standalone or a series. I don't know, this might be a standalone, which really interests me. I know nothing about it, so let's read the description. Blood Over Brighthaven by M.L. Wang. Oh, so this is the same author as Sword of Kaigan. Okay, that's promising. So if I like Sword of Kaigan or this book, I'll read the other, vice versa. Magic has made the city of Tehran an industrial utopia, but magic has a cost, and the collectors have come calling. An orphan since the age of 4, Skiona has always had more to prove than her fellow students. For 20 years, she has devoted every waking moment to the study of magic, fueled by a mad desire to achieve the impossible, to be the first woman ever admitted to the High Magistracy. When she finally claws her way up the ranks to become a High Mage. However, she finds that her challenges have just begun. Her new colleagues will stop at nothing to let her know she is unwelcome, beginning with giving her a janitor instead of a qualified lab assistant. This sounds like it's a dark academia vibe, which I feel like is so perfect for winter. So from what I've heard, the magic system is a little bit confusing, but I will gladly look it up and move on. I've heard great reviews about it though. Everybody says it's incredible. It seems to be a standalone, which is green flag all the way, absolutely. So those are the 6 books of my winter TBR. Let's review them again. The Sword of Kaigan, Wild Dark Shore, Beneath the Scarlet Sky, Project Hail Mary, Will of the Many, and Blood Over Brighthaven. Lots of sci-fi fantasy and 1 historical fiction, which I probably will get to next. I'm so excited about these books. I'm so excited to read them. And I'm so excited to keep you along with me, keep you updated. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I hope that you guys will keep me accountable for reading these books. And also, if you've read them, please let me know. Please hype me up to read them. Please encourage me, because fantasy and sci-fi books are quite intimidating, but the payout is so worth it. Thank you. Bye.